I know what the feeling is. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do you have a chance to review minutes, or?
Nope, but that's all right. Better see what we did to make sure that.
We saw this, saw some typos, but other than that, it's.
There is some corrections.
Oh, there are corrections.
Well, I mean, instead of Mike Bodenhoff, it's just Commissioner.
Okay.
Kathleen was misspelled,
Yeah.
Jerry Henry was misspelled, and yeah, he referred to us Henry and Bill, and Mike said this, and Mike made a motion, and I don't know how hard we want to get on it.
Okay.
There were 6 or 7.
Yeah, other than those, I was fine with it. I mean, I think everything else was correct.
You were pretty nervous about doing it, I could tell.
Yeah.
First time.
I mean, that's why I sent Linda, so that if there was anybody that she could help me with the name.
Yeah, you can change this, she had it right to, it was actually 150 according to his was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was. That was early. So I get for going back to standby technical.
My wife said that here about a month ago. And luckily I wasn't paying attention to it. I got somewhere and it said, it was like 9:30, and my wife said it was 2 o'clock. It's better than that.
We got one of the new sheriffs this year, is that what you said?
Huh?
Got one of the new sheriffs this year.
I was thinking of, we just approved 2 positions for.
Yeah.
It said Matt asked for 3, but we approved 2.
Yeah, that's what I thought it said.
Oh, it said the board approved, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think outside the typos and stuff, he has some.
Go back to it with me, is there a typo?
Yeah. Entertained motion to accept with corrections.
So moved. I'll second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carry 3-0. We got Jackie here with an update on tourism.
Yeah, thank you for letting me come at the very last minute. Next week, actually starting the 4th, so starting Saturday and going through the following Saturday, is National Travel and Tourism Week. So, when we have National Travel and Tourism Week, the state usually always comes up with something they want to do as well. So, one of the things this year we're doing is called the Power of Travel in Kansas. And so here's a full packet, maybe you could share your bar with the others, with some of you have one. So I brought you a couple of things that are included in that packet, and then Jeff can share what he has. And I also made copies because this is the state paid to do a study, and this is based on 2011 numbers, but I brought you the breakdown by county because I thought it was kind of important. That's in your packet. Well, there's one. Okay. So I just wanted to touch base on a couple of things. First of all, say thank you very much for contributing to our tourism funding, because it obviously has an impact on the entire county. Overall, in the state of Kansas, in 2011, 32 million people visited the state of Kansas and spent $8 billion. So it has a huge impact, obviously, on the state. Travel and Tourism provided $917 in tax relief to each Kansas household. So we know how important it is. Obviously, out of the chamber, we know how important it is. And I have done a spot for care that we'll play next week, talking about how important it is, and encouraging people in the county and in the whole listening area who haven't maybe visited some of the places that we have in the community to come and visit and see why people come to see us. You know, why are people coming to Ashton all the time? Why? And I think it's exciting that Muskoda's working on the baseball museum. We're trying to help Marcy put together a work crew, and that's coming up in a couple of weeks, the work weekend they're going to have out there, which would just give us one more reason for people to come to Ashton County. You know, obviously, when they do come, the longer they stay, the better it is for us. We would much prefer that they stay overnight rather than all the day trippers. So we're hoping that will help us. So there's a whole lot of information there. The big Kansas travel guide that I gave each of you, we do a half-page ad in that every year. They print about 300,000 copies that go out to anyone that requests it. We also have quite a few of our attractions listed in there. And so I mainly just wanted to share information with you, say thank you, kind of substantiate the fact that spending money on tourism is a good thing to do because we get much more than that back. So I didn't want to take too much time, but I want to say thanks and give you all kinds of goodies, and maybe you'll just, share that bar with them.
You got it served.
Cut it and serve. It actually also, it was made in the cloud, so it's a local. It's pretty darn good. I ate mine. I didn't share mine. But it's good. So the state kind of challenged us to go to our partners in tourism, to go to the media, and just try to toot our own horn and talk about how important tourism is to all of us. So that's what I wanted to do.
Great.
Cool.
We appreciate it.
Questions?
Any questions? That's pretty good. Trying to digest all this.
Yeah, right. Memorize all that. Well, that's later.
Like northeast part of the state. So
Well, the northeast part is huge, and obviously that, you've got the racetrack and those kind of things. And if you look at the county, when you notice the big bump in Brown County, that's the casinos. So you see what those big bumps are. But we feel like we get a lot of the trickle down or spillover from the Kansas City stuff. We advertise down there that visitor's guide, so that anybody that comes in to do that knows about us and where we are, how to get here, and all that kind of stuff. So.
Like those.
Yeah, it's nice to see those numbers. The state hasn't done that for quite some time, and we get asked about it a lot, so they funded the study this last year, which I think was probably a good idea.
I like this Discovery East lesson. So a couple of them ran kids.
Uh-oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Some new places to go eat.
Well, Mr. G just came in.
Right. You're hungry.
Yeah.
He's gonna share his bar.
You said that we're movie the bar. The power bar.
Well, it's just a habit that my family has, we like to eat.
We appreciate it.
Okay,
Good
yeah.
work.
Thank you again, thanks for last minute, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay.
Okay. We have a few people in the room, kind of simultaneously. So I think we're ready for you guys, and we've also got, I don't know if you guys had a chance to meet, this is Dan Summerall, Lauren Atfield's director of the
Lauren
Ashton
Atfield.
YMCA. Dan
Yeah,
Summerall with
nice to meet
JCW.
you. Athena, nice to meet you.
That's Beth Krogmeyer
And
back
this is
there.
Beth, our Healthy Living Director.
Hi. Good, I have a teacher class this morning,
you
so,
fine.
ready for the day.
There you go. So, I knew that you guys were coming up, and then I talked with Warren the other day, and we've, been trying to coordinate a day to come up, and I think it's probably fit in really good with wellness and what you guys are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dan Summerall, we got a chance to meet you. Nice to meet you as well. Jeff and I talked yesterday about today to the folks from the Y that are coming up as well,
Nice to meet you.
and thought we could just have a kind of informal discussion about wellness initiatives for the county, what they've done historically, where we want to go going forward. We're really excited, and you guys have all met Athena and I, but we're excited to have a new member of our team, Melissa, with us. Jeff and I talked about, she's been with us now for about 6 weeks, but she's a huge add for us. She is an in-house wellness consultant, so I thought it was more than appropriate to bring her out today. She's going to be able to bring a lot to the table. So I can let Melissa talk a little bit more about her background and where she comes from, et cetera.
I have a 15 years experience doing wellness on either the work side or in county government. I actually work for Johnson County government and the city of Tennessee, Missouri. And in the city, I actually ran the wellness program for that whole group, covering 350 square miles. So that's my background. I went to school at K-State. Like I said, I've been doing this for 15 years, and I'd like to bring a lot of strategy and other pieces to help build a wellness program to the table for you and your county and everything. My mind is thinking about that. But I have a lot of good ideas to bring to the table and would like to be a good partner to build that for your county.
Be great, we're here to listen.
So with that said, I guess, kind of, for the benefit of all, just kind of catch us up historically and then up to today, what the county has done from a wellness perspective, in regards to the health plan, how it's coordinated, et cetera.
The only wellness that's there is really through the state of Kansas. A lot of it's like online. There's I think one or two. Isn't there like two? There's an assessment that they do like on site. I think that once a year.
Once a year.
Yeah.
And is that leading up to open enrollment in the plan, or how do they time that?
Just need after, isn't it?
It has to be done by, I think it's before July 1, and then
So, is it an HRA, or do they do an actual screening?
they do an actual screening.
Okay.
You're supposed to make appointments.
Okay. And then, just from some previous conversations, my understanding was, if you do A, B, and C, whatever that may be, but several of these things, you qualify then for the little bit lower premium, the medical plan, which we've talked about, is listed as tobacco, non-tobacco, but it's really wellness, non-wellness. Okay. Okay, so we know that wellness screening and then probably a health risk assessment. And do we know any of the pieces of that?
It's like,
You have to get so many points. Each person has to get so many points for the total to get the reward stuff.
Okay.
So it depends on the family or
vision,
individual.
dental,
Okay.
wellness, going to the doctor for like men and women wellness checks.
So is a lot of it just self-reported? Hey, I've done X, Y, and Z, and
But they have stuff that you can, like, you can call in, like, they have coaches. Nobody knows from here, but they have coaches that will help them, smoking. They have coaches on smoking. They have, can't think what else.
It's anywhere. I mean, it's a point system, so you have to achieve.
yeah.
I think it was for families like 40-some points, and
And so if you achieve that by 7-1, then the coming 1-1, you qualify for that lower premium. Is that the way it works? Okay. So essentially, it's some level of point system. A lot of activities, they're trying to push wellness engagement by letting you accrue points that get you. And I think the premium is, I want to say it's $40 a month differential. Holly, is that accurate? Okay.
Now, one of the programs that they they still do walk across Kansas, or I can't remember if that's what it was, and they always
I
give
don't
it.
know if that's in the point. I don't know if that's in the point factors or not.
Is that some, a
Both
program
across
that's
Kansas, it's just extension.
Okay.
Extension does it. I don't remember seeing it on the point reward system.
I remember at K-State that was one of the things we had to do.
Now, in case they push it with the extension council, so
Okay.
it's probably good.
Okay. Okay, so that's what's going on today. Do you get, or do you have much of a feel for what kind of participation you get in that? I mean, how engaged are the?
That's a good question.
We've been sending it out to the employees, but
So I guess part of that piece is then you too, which makes sense with the state. You probably never get any aggregate reporting back saying, hey, this many people engaged, this, that, or do you?
Linda gets something. she gets something back when, she gets notification when an employee is fulfilled, I believe, the discount. If they notify, I know when I completed mine, she got some sort of notification. Other than that, so there's gotta be something we could probably inquire with them, but
Okay.
that's a good question. I don't know what the participation rate
Okay.
gets me low. I don't.
You know, if you go back and check your payroll stuff, you can figure out who's on it, who's qualified, who's not.
Okay. One thing, and Melissa, feel free to jump in, one thing that I think of, on programs like this, and it's fine, first of all, let me back up and say, our clients are all across the continuum of wellness, wellness initiatives, engagement, sponsorship from the top, et cetera. I know one of the main goals for a lot of our organizations looking to take the next step in wellness is, if possible, can we engage throughout the year as opposed to, employees satisfying X, Y, and Z just to get a premium for people. That's a huge piece of it, if you want to go down that path. I also, another conversation along these lines is resources-wise, is the county looking for, hey, between carriers, Hayes, what kind of resources, plans, wellness initiatives we put in place with little to no output, or is there a thought of budgeting for certain wellness? That's another thing we could go with. But Melissa, from your perspective, what other questions would you have going forward?
No, you just asked.
Okay.
But, that's one thing, your goals, what do you want to accomplish? That's a big thing with your wellness program. Where do you want to go today, in 3 years, 5 years? And that helps me to help you develop that strategy and that plan to move along. And then also helps me develop what programs or identify what programming to help your staff reach those goals.
I know last year when we ran, we went to carriers, when we were looking at possibly going away from the state plan. I know we weren't ideal, but obviously the risk factors were high, so anything to probably correct that and make us probably a better, get a better risk assessment, so reduce our risk factors, obviously would be number one. That's not gonna happen overnight, we know that.
Yeah, I know, Jeff, you and I have had some conversations about that. One thing that would be nice, if the timing's right, if we can, if it gets to the point that an option in the private market is a good option relative to the state, is we'll get access to a raw data dump of your claims, so we can see what's driving your costs there from chronic conditions, et cetera, which kind of leads us down the path of education opportunities, those sorts of things. Do you think, is your impression with what's available through some of the state programs now, is there much education going out to employees? And they're doing these things, but are they getting much in the way of education as far as, managing chronic conditions or general, healthy eating, exercise, those sorts of things? Is there much of that component from your perspective, or what are your thoughts there?
I don't think there's
Just
any-
whatever, yeah.
Okay.
There's information out there, but it's like you have to go, you basically
Get
have
to
to
pull
get
it.
it. You have to
Okay.
pull it.
So obviously, I think there's probably an opportunity there, education. A lot of our clients are they're hitting a lot of wellness education around open enrollment. The reality of it is, like the county, when you have employees different places, it's hard other times to push information out to them. So that's a time when during the year, when you can have a captive audience. But then I also think, and feel free to jump in, if there's access for some continued education throughout the year, I just think that's really imperative to make some strides. Go ahead.
And the group that usually helps get that education piece out is the wellness committee. Do you have a group? That'd be something
We had
that
one at one time.
Really?
you did at
We
one
had
time.
one at one time.
Well, and that's usually your group that helps identify what the main risks are and then identify the programming that's gonna happen once a quarter, because that's what I recommend, is having at least one thing happening every quarter so that staff know that something's gonna be coming, first, second, third, fourth quarter. And that wellness committee acts as your education committee. And that's a big piece, because they really help drive your initiative.
There's a couple of benefits of the wellness committee. We've got some clients having that have been very successful. You know, one, and Melissa kind of alluded to all of them, but one, you know, initiatives and education can be deployed, but it's not necessarily the responsibility of just an HR department or whatever. When resources are limited, it's a nice way to kind of allocate that around. You know, we've had some clients that it's been a very, even more successful in engaging the employees because it feels more employee-owned, for lack of a better term, as opposed to something being pushed down. And I've got a client that's it's a manufacturing company, and maybe the most successful wellness program that I've worked on, and it's almost a competition every year to see who can be named. You know, they put someone on from their different divisions or locations and have representatives, and they serve a term of a year. And it's a big deal to be on a wellness program. People view it as such, you know, and I think for all those reasons, their program has really thrived. It enables them to get stuff out to employees throughout the year. And it's not any extra burden to HR staff to do so. The employees are excited about it. It has less of a big brotherly type of feel because it's kind of coming from your peers. So just a thought, I know you've done that historically, but I think, especially, you know, with the county, we've got employees here and here and here, different, you know, you were kind of set up to have some representation from different elements. If that was something you're interested in, I think it could be something that could be pretty helpful in helping you deploy some of this stuff.
Right, with having the committee, if you have one person that was really running everything and then that person leaves, your wellness program kind of leaves with them. So it's good to have that committee with people from different departments helping to run it and making those decisions together so that if one leaves, you still have a program to keep running on. And then it's also not tied to whoever your carrier is, not necessarily. You can use their programming, but it stays with you whether you move from a carrier to carrier. And that's another big important piece.
I know, you know, Hayes also has some turnkey products. We've got a walking program. We've got for example, there's a program around, you know, holding weight around the holidays, et cetera. I think there's more to come there. That's exciting stuff.
There's a lot more to come. I'm working on an actual platform so that I can roll out a bunch of different types of programming, nutrition programs, education programs, stress reduction programming. I just have to get the okay from our boss to get that going. But there's a lot of things that I want to be able to bring to the table for our clients. It's just going to take us a little bit to get that going. But
And then ideally, that stuff would all be web-based, is that
yes,
accurate?
it'd be web-based so that you wouldn't have to necessarily do paper, but it could be paper as well. Paper forms people write on and check off boxes and whatever, if that's what the committee or, you know, everybody that was involved decided that was a better format versus doing it all online.
You probably have to have that because there's a lot of them up at the nursing home that doesn't have computers.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, and everything that I have either paper or it can be electronic, so that's, like I said, it's not that big of a deal.
So you could have some actual paper handouts, you know, say open enrollment meetings, but, you know, the nice thing about the web piece is, Alyssa and I were talking, but so much of the time, the spouse maybe drives as much of the wellness in the household or, you know, medical care, et cetera. So it's kind of nice because sometimes those handouts maybe never make it home. Not that I'm ever guilty of that. But we found that to be the case at times. So there's positives to that too, if, Pauline's point, if they have access.
Mhm. So what would be like a timeline or as far as having, you know, getting a wellness committee up and having you start working with us?
Yeah, I mean, I think on your end, as far as getting the committee together, I mean, especially if it's in a place for it, to me, that would be something that would take a lot of time. You want to decide how many members you want to have on it, you know, what makes sense as far as allocating membership, and maybe get them together, and what I think would make sense, most correct me, but I think it would make a lot of sense once you had that committee together, for us to come meet maybe directly with them and you as we develop some of these initiatives. Because the reality of it is, those people are going to be key to disseminating a lot of this information.
Right. And another piece, like one of their the committee's first job would be to administer or hand out a culture audit, which would be something that I have already built, but we can move and pull pieces in so that we can help determine what the first thing that the committee needs to work on within the county government, because that's important. If you don't know that, you don't really, you're spinning your wheels because you're not gonna make any progress. So that would be one of the first things, and I already have all that developed, and we can just pick and choose questions to put in there that we would wanna use. So, but I think that's a good first step. Especially because we don't have a whole lot of assessment information, is that correct? Yeah, so that would help us figure out a lot more. I say us, meaning the committee and myself.
Yeah.
So
No, but it's kind of, I mean, one way you kind of start from scratch, but I kind of view that as a positive. You're not trying to really modify anything, we could kind of build from ground zero, so I think I view that as a positive. Well, I mean, we'll let you guys, download or whatever, discuss. If you want to get on the path of the committee, I do think it's a good place to start. I think it'll help, wherever we go from there, as far as what we deployed, et cetera, I think it'll aid in that. And not only deployment of the information, but I think it'll aid in the overall success of it.
You suggest like just asking for volunteers from everybody at first, or I mean,
Yeah.
you said representation.
Yeah, good volunteers. So when you volunteer, usually your healthier people that want to see something more happening, so they're going to be a good cheerleader, for lack of a better word. They'll really help hold things together, but you want to make sure that you spread it out throughout the organization. You don't have a whole lot of people from, I don't know, say this office, versus not having people from all over.
Inequitable, yeah.
Right, and most committees, 3 to 4 is a good size to start. The best committees have more, but 3 to 4 is really good to start, and then you can add if you need to add.
Yeah, I've got clients that have anywhere from a 3-team committee up to 12, depending on the size of the organization. So, I think a lot of that just, to Melissa's point, I think you want to be sensitive to make sure every part of your group feels like they have equal representation. I know you employ the different spots that you do. So I think just being sensitive to that's probably wise. There's no magic number there, but something that makes sense within that range. Okay. Yeah, let us know what you think on that. Again, I think our input would be that'd probably be a good place to start. And then we've, like I said, Melissa's got a lot of exciting stuff in the works as far as deliverables to our clients. We're hoping to hear on pretty soon, too. So, and then too, leading into, I think the timing is good because as we get, we're ways out from open enrollment, at least for 1/1, and I think if we could, we'd like to be involved in that, and help talk about some of these topics. When we have a captive audience of your employees.
So like the open enrollment session?
Yeah, open enrollment meetings, we'd like to come up and be a part of that, if that was fine with you guys. And then whatever we've determined between now and then, we can help, one-on-one talk about, or not one-on-one, but in good ratio, discuss some of those initiatives. Other thoughts?
Well, our time frame, so we have October 1st, I think we have to get, as far as getting the data and then going to market, I'm just trying to think of the timing between now and when that occurs as far as wellness. Again, do you start that right away and then we get the data, I assume July, or what?
Wait, specifically, Jeff, which data are you referring to?
Our claims history.
The data that we're referring to, as far as really being able to see what's driving their costs, will come if you can make a move from the state. At that point in time, we'll be able to accrue that from the private sector. That's what I'm saying. It literally is a raw data dump. It's part of our standard services, but we'll put together something at that point called our health plan intelligence. The state won't give us that data dump. So that would kind of come after the fact. But that doesn't mean we're not moving on some of the wellness initiatives before that. Yeah. And then relative to, but just for the rest of the committee, relative to your 10/1 date, so our plan as far as the coming agenda is as follows. And we're going to come out in about 6 weeks. I think it was on the 18th, 19th, and we're putting together a full healthcare reform cost impact analysis for you. It's really good. We've got our head of actuarial studies who'll come help present that with us. And then we're going to get a data request to data through June from the state. go through the marketing process that we did last year as well, as early as possible for 1/1/14. Keep in mind that the carriers, they don't want to release quotes too early or too far out from 1/1. That's just an underwriter. We're hoping data through June will suffice, so that's what we're shooting for. And keeping in mind your 10/1 date, you have to notify them. So we obviously want to try to present to you any and all options from the private market prior to that, hopefully early September, so you can make a decision and notify the state by the 90-day requirement.
Okay, Pat, the way we left it last year with the state, I know we struggled to get some of that data at the end. Do they still charge us for that data?
Well, as I remember what they said is that, was it the first one was free?
Yeah.
And,
I
no,
don't
they're charging for all of it?
think anything's free.
Okay.
Well, you know, I know Jeff, I thought the other day, too, you know, we know for a fact, no one will release a quote if we have data through March or April. We're going to shoot for June, in an effort to get as much as we can, but still get it going as early as possible, because we'll get data from June at the earliest, probably the 4th week of July. That's the way that works, about a month's lag on that. Hayes will pick up the cost of getting that data, and we're very, very hopeful enough to get people, the carriers to quote. If not, then we'll go back a couple months later, get data, we'll do that. But we're hoping we can get things going with June data, which will be at the end of July. That's the game plan. So, the reality of it is last year, I know we tried and did ask the question even in June or July if we could get some 1/1 quotes, and no one will give them to us. It's just too far out, there's too much unknown at that point for the underwriters, and underwriters don't like to operate in that kind of environment, even if we push them, but we're hoping with June data we can get something done there. Sorry, we've just been talking like crazy, so, what are some programs in place that you'd like to, partner with the county on, and what do you have to offer from the wellness perspective?
Well, what we have, we already have a relationship on a small level. We've got what we call our Healthy Living Partner memberships with the YMCA. Of course, the Y's mission is to be accessible to everybody, but we've gone out into the communities that we serve, not only locally but nationally as the YMCA USA. More specifically to Atchison, we've gone and made connections with local businesses to set up what we call Healthy Living Partner memberships. The beauty of these memberships, there's two different rates. There's an individual rate and then there's a household rate. So one just encompasses, in this case, it would be the employee, and then you can look at the employee and their household as far as that membership. And the rates are $35 and $49 respectively for that. Where the business or the individual can look at incentivizing their employees to take part in a healthy lifestyle and be able to take advantage of the tools and the services that the YMCA can provide. A lot of companies, Atchison specific, the sky's the limit on how they set it up. Just to let you know, this is the closest one that I could find out as it relates to government. This is the city and what they've done as it relates to their program. You can look on the I think it's the bottom right-hand corner. They have looked at it and really specifically really honed in on getting as many folks involved with this initiative as they possibly could. So they've incentivized it from the employee's perspective to pay a portion of the membership. And it really varies as it relates to how that works. And of course, it's all predicated off of budgets and how that all works within the individual business or organization. But if the company were to do something like that, they found that people are more engaged, people actually utilize it, and in some cases, there's an accountability factor. The carrot's out there now. Is there a stick that helps incentivize them to be able to really take advantage on a road to becoming a healthier individual? And some businesses will put a usage limit on it. They'll put, okay, so we want to see you actively engaged in some type of physical activity 6 times a month, 3 times a month, whatever that is. And if you do that, then you will get reimbursed X amount based on what they've designed as far as that goes. And for the city's perspective, it's 6 times a month. So we have, I'll use Trey as an example, who has religiously come in 7 times this month, and we'll be able to take advantage of the benefit with the city. But
So
there's
if they don't go, that,
then it's up to the individual. Sometimes they'll allow a grace period of a month before they end up pulling that membership as far as that benefit goes. But that's what's so nice about this is it's as complex or simple as you guys would want to make it. But as far as from and I'll let Beth speak to the programmatic services that we'd be able to provide for the individual business or companies that we work with on a day-to-day basis as it relates to the healthy living aspect and those initiatives that we can bring to bear. That would be more of the physical nature as opposed to the online environment where they're actually just reading something or something. This is where they're actually physically taking a part in becoming a healthier individual or family as it relates. We're very heavily involved with this Live Well with Atchison, which is a big initiative that's spearheaded by the hospital to basically address some of these issues. So, as we look at how that initiative affects not only the city of Atchison, but also the county as a whole. We look to be able to play a big role in bringing those health rankings significantly up from where they currently are. So, but Beth, do you want to share as far as
I did, and forgive
Yeah,
me if I-
no, that's all right.
So what, like for the city, like what is the level of reimbursement for that 6 visits a month?
So if you're looking at,
Here's the extra form.
I actually have just to give you.
that's based on salary.
Yeah, it's all based off of the employee's salary. So, and this is per paycheck. So, and forgive me, but I'm not 100% sure if they're bi-weekly or if I think they're bi-weekly. So, person in that first year, they'd be an individual reimbursed a single membership based on that $35, $49 fee. They'd be reimbursed $5 a paycheck, provided they fulfill the obligations coming to the line in being engaged in physical activity or some type of wellness type program for them or their families. They'll get that reimbursement.
And right out of the chute, what is what kind of reduction are the corporate membership rates versus just the standard rates?
It's the sky's the limit. When you get out of the Healthy Living Partner memberships, you go from 2 categories to 10. So they're all predicated based on seniors, senior couples, single parent families, young adults, and adult memberships. So there's a myriad of different activities, and then we also have on the normal membership they're what we call open doors membership. The YMCA's mission is not to turn anybody away because of inability to pay. So we have open doors membership, and provided we can prove the household income, they might be able to qualify for a specific rate other than what the stated rate is on a particular type of membership, whether it be a senior adult, which would be $26 a month at the top, or as low as I think it's $21. Single parent family, the top rate is $52 a month, and at the bottom it would be like $31 a month.
Okay.
And with those memberships, I mean, the complete access to the healthy living aspect of things with all of our group exercise classes, all of the aquatics exercise classes, just when we get into the individualized, as far as a household with youth sports and different things like that, there's a member rate and a community participant rate, and they would, of course, get the member rate with all those programmatic opportunity centers. So, but then there's some other initiatives that I can speak to as it relates to some of the other programs that we might be able to bring to bear for a specific individual or company.
Yeah, we have worked with many companies to create like weight loss challenges, and not in the sense of focusing on weight loss, but more focusing on healthy choices. So we do a point system. So, if you buy fruits and vegetables and you bring in your receipt to show us that you bought them, there's 10 points. And so it's really going to the behaviors rather than weight loss. So you could, there's 2 winners, weight loss winner and a point winner. And like drinking water, all different healthy behaviors, that's kind of done. We have a company in town, we are hosting a run to help with Live Well Live Action, and we have a company in town that's paying for all their employees who want to do it to do the race, which is pretty unique and pretty awesome. They're really buying into making sure that their employees are healthy. And then we also do offsite group X, so group exercise classes in the middle of the day or after work, anything like that. Pretty much anything and everything we can do. We've done most of it, and we have templates if we haven't done it yet. So anything the county wants, we usually can help you all out. And with our weight loss challenges, we do a lot of seminars. Like we had someone come in from Susan G. Komen and speak about breast cancer and kind of fighting it, and heart disease and nutrition. So that's a big component we try to also educate, just because some people genuinely don't know, and that's what we do. So.
And, you know, for today you guys have the point system in place, but again, a lot of it's focused around, I'm hitting that, you know, what Beth's talking about is a lot of our clients do have a point system that leads ultimately to a premium differential, but I really think the key is the year-round engagement of it. And whether it be individual activities like that, or, you know, there's a quarterly seminar or something like that you attend or whatever, it's something that the employees that are engaged are thinking about throughout the plan year as opposed to for 1 month in order just to qualify for a reduced premium.
Is there a fee associated with this program? Because the Healthy Partnership in Kansas City there is. So in order to get into the program, you have to buy in. Is there a fee here in Washington?
A fee to buy into,
Is it Healthy Living Partner?
No, the individual or the family, we can do a third-party payroll deduction, basically is how it would work from the county aspect, and that's what we currently do now. I think there's 4 individuals that are possibly on that. Where it gets a little bit more deeper is if the company or business would want to pay a portion of that membership, with, you know, however they wanted to set it up. We've got companies that will pay 100% of the membership. We've got companies that will pay $30 of a monthly membership for their employees, whether it be an individual or a household, and then they would be responsible for the difference. In this case, you know, $30, they'd be responsible for $5 a month in this case. That might not be a perfect model for a specific individual. The hospital has a totally different one. I think they pay 50%, maybe even a little bit higher than that. But there's a whole lot of other businesses that we have relationships with that just might offer payroll deduction for that employee to be able to be a part of this. So there's no real buy-in. The buy-in comes from the individual business if they want to really invest in their employees in the way of a reimbursement on their end and a reduced rate that way.
So you probably see some clients that, as opposed to just reducing the premium, maybe choose to, if you do X, Y, and Z, we'll subsidize your membership. Essentially, do you see some of that?
Well, on the actual membership, as far as if it's a Healthy Living Partner membership, it's pretty much whatever the company decides. You know, if they come, sometimes they'll have, like I was saying earlier, with the 6 times a month, then they'll get the reimbursement. If they don't, they can still keep it, but they're not going to reimburse it, or they'll end up dropping it after having a conversation with them about why they're going to do it. But we would, at the same time, there's individuals that might be lower on the pay scale, and this might be an extra burden on them, and then it might not be something where we can get into the Open Doors membership with a Healthy Living Partner membership, because they're pretty anchored as far as the rates go with those. But if somebody were to come in that might work for, in this case, the county, that might be an hourly worker only working X amount of hours, extremely part-time, they might be able to get into our open doors at a rate that's a little bit more reasonable as it relates to the overall cost of actual membership, if the county were just offer payroll deduction in this case. So.
I mean, are these like the type of programs that you're seeing, I mean, companies like incorporate into their businesses, or?
And we definitely do see programs like this. We've seen, I know on Hayes specifically has a program in place nationally where if it's an approved health facility and you go 8 visits a month, you know, you get your membership subsidized by $20. So absolutely, it's something we see commonly. Melissa, any more comments on that?
No, and, you know, there's a lot of companies that do use an outside vendor to run their wellness program, and it works really well for them. So that's really, you know, a good thing, and I see that the Eat Right for Life, that's an excellent, that's a book, Dr. Ann, Eat Right for Life, Dr. Ann. You know, there's some excellent programming I see on here, so that's a good partnership on the program. So, and membership activities, good concept.
Yeah. I mean, we're affiliated with the YMCA of Greater Kansas City. We're one of those, but with our proximity to the other 16 centers in the association, we have what we call center-only membership rates. Our demographics are, of course, a lot different than what they are in the KC metro area, and so our rates have to reflect the overall demographic of the community that we serve in here in Atchison County. And we've got memberships all the way from Fall City, Nebraska, all the way down. I mean, the aquatics facility that we have is a very nice feature that the Y has currently. We just have an old tool at the moment, and we're working on addressing that as we speak. So, the oldest Y west of the Mississippi River.
Really?
Still being utilized as a YMCA.
Wow.
So, it's got deep roots in the community, and in serving the county of Atchison. We hope to be here.
When was it built?
It was built on 4th and Commercial Street. The address is 321 Commercial. Prior to that, they were downtown. That Y in Atchison actually started in 1872, conjunction, and then the existing facility on 4th and Commercial was built in conjunction with the Burlington, the Atchison Topeka Santa Fe Railroad coming across the state of Kansas that housed the railroad workers. Back in the 50s, the YMCA was in the hotel business. And had more hotel rooms than anybody but Marriott. But the Y's been real keen to adapt to the changes and needs of the community as times changed and the services changed. The YMCA adapted with that to a large degree, and so they've somewhat got out of the hotel business in a large part, but some Y still offer hotel rooms across the United States, but they're more in the urban setting, downtown setting, kind of stuff. So, but the Y's been here a very long time, deep roots in the community.
Well, Melissa, if you guys had anything else on your end, I mean, I think whichever way we want to go as far as in multiple ways, partnerships, initiatives, et cetera, as we head into 1/1, I think the next step that makes the most sense is maybe assembling that committee, and then we'd like to get together with them, and you guys as well, to attempt to do that. Does that sound like a good plan of action from your guys' perspective?
Start with what?
Yeah, just send out, just by email you want to suggest, or we really don't have any events coming up here soon. Just ask for volunteers.
Yeah, well, and then we want to make sure we don't get too big.
Yeah, it sounded like it was like anywhere from 3 to 12 is what you.
Yeah, I mean, for a group of your size,
That would be like
honestly,
optimal, like.
Yeah, you have,
if they have roughly 150 on the medical plan, I wouldn't think
I wouldn't say too much more than 6.
yeah, I'd say 3 to 5 might make a lot of sense. It's the kind of thing where, the hope would be that if at first, everybody's kind of like, well, what is this, whatever, and maybe getting going at first, getting representation, might be more challenging, but hopefully as the plan kind of gets momentum, takes on a little bit of life of its own, it's something that's pretty easy just to maintain.
We have a couple of department heads in here, I see three. Would either be any interest in wellness programs as far as employee like engagement, or people trying to, be interested in joining this committee? And
I'd be interested.
Yeah.
Great. That's awesome.
I'd say out of Roseburg, there might be a few people interested, but the majority probably not.
what about like YMCA? Any interest in, do you guys go to the YMCA right now currently?
I think some of our people go to the Y, some go to Curves, there's a variety. Yeah, and some of the programs do meet with, my time. I like to do it right after work and.
So are there employees that use the Y?
Yes, there are some that use the Y, some that use Curves. I think we have a couple that have done SNAP, but I'm not sure. So, we've got some.
Car racing doesn't count now.
What's that?
Car racing doesn't count.
There's lit.
Okay, well, I guess, and I'll continue to coordinate with Polly and Jeff as far as what that looks like timing-wise.
Yeah, thanks for coming up.
You bet it.
We'll definitely discuss this, and we're kind of just on the doorstep of
No
trying to get
problem.
something going.
You know where to
Appreciate
find
you
me.
guys coming up.
So feel free to reach out if you guys have any questions.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, guys, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
We'll circle back, to you guys on what you think that timing looks like on getting that initial group together, and then start from there. And like I said, most of you might have a different take, but, I think starting something kind of essentially from scratch is kind of exciting.
It is exciting, well, that's my job, so I think that's exciting. So definitely would like to help if you need help with that.
Yeah, I would think within the next 6 weeks is what we said, coming back up.
You and I were thinking the same line. I was thinking 6 weeks because you pushed off too far, then it becomes back burner and
Yep.
it needs to be towards the front.
Yep. Yeah, I think Polly and I exchanged dates, but I think we're looking at somewhere around the 18th to 19th, somewhere in there, as far as healthcare reform meeting.
19th, I think you talked about.
Okay.
I don't have a date, time.
What time works for you guys? And I'll send out an appointment. You guys are all afternoon sessions now, correct?
2:15 on.
Okay, and we can do, let's plan on 2:15 on the 19th for the healthcare reform meeting. In the meantime, we'll talk on what's going on in the wellness front.
Okay.
Between now and then. Yeah, we'll probably need, for the healthcare reform, we'll probably be pushing that full hour. It's a good amount of information we need to get through. Is that okay?
Just going up for that.
It'll be Athena and I, and then Sarah Martin, our head of actuarial services, and Kevin may or may not make that meeting, much of his availability is right now. So we've got that down at 6:19, 2:15, I'll send out an Outlook appointment as well.
You're looking at an hour?
Yep.
Okay.
Is that okay? You have time for that?
There's something on it right now.
Okay, perfect. Okay. We'll see anything else as far as at this juncture, or just,
I don't think so. I think that first step is
okay,
formation.
looking forward to getting started. And then two, there could be a lot developing over the next 6 weeks as far as more specifics on what Sarah, or what Melissa can bring to the table as far as some of those programs. Which I think that's really, a lot of that's where the rubber's gonna hit the road, because a lot of that stuff, it's gonna be no cost to the county, and it's gonna be ways that either electronically or in paper we can engage not just employees, but the household.
Right.
And I think that's really huge.
That's a huge thing. The environment at home is just as important as the one at work. So, and most of my programming isn't just education, it's education, exercise. There's a whole range. So it encourages exercise on some of the programming that I have. So I just couldn't provide a facility like the lab. sit in the back of my car.
Yeah, and all that said though, I mean, depending on what direction you guys and the committee ultimately wanted to go, those things can incorporate something like with the Y, it doesn't have to be one or the other, it could be something that incorporates all that sort of stuff,
A good
so,
partnership,
yeah.
a good partnership. And I know the folks, since they're affiliated with Williamson City, I know Kansas City Wise will partner with any existing wellness program. So that's a good thing, you know, that they're affiliated, so that tells me a lot more about their program.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody's trying to accomplish the same thing there,
Right, exactly.
so.
Would that have like any impact, or I know that, when you go to market, as far as like, other plans or other carriers are out there, would that have any influence? They're sort of just gonna look at numbers, they're gonna look at other tangible.
Yeah, no, it won't impact that. You know, the only thing that ultimately, the way this can impact it, obviously, we'd say, oh, reduce claims, yes. But ultimately, in the private setting, when we have access to raw data dump to put together our health plan intelligence, we use that piece of your claims data to help negotiate with carriers on your behalf. It's an incredibly deep data dive, and it gives us access to what we call fact-based negotiating. You know, for example, if we're looking at some plan options and the carrier says that's worth, just for our number, that's worth 5 points to make that change, or 3 points, or whatever, we can say, look, here's the way their population, if it's positive and it helps our cause, here's the way their population is actually using the plan, that change is only worth a point, and here's why, and we've had a lot of success with that. So, when you consider the fact that when we have that data, and we can educate based on that data, and hopefully drive that data to say better numbers relative to chronic conditions, et cetera, ultimately, yes, it can happen to carriers, but without, at this point, just going blankly to the market with it, no. But in the future, yeah, we believe it can help. Absolutely. And that data, that's why we always, you know, nickel for every time I've said something like that, but that's why we believe so heavily in that, because with that data for us is power, and it gives us power to negotiate on your behalf, it gives us power to educate your employees, and just really, really see what's driving spend, medical spend for the county, and then dig into it and attack it. Yep.
So basically, middle, end of July, we need to work on requesting that data from the state.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll have a request.
We'll have a request.
So we can probably put a request in, but this request,
Right.
when the June data is in.
Yeah, we don't want it to be, kind of Melissa's earlier point about outside, out of mind. We'll probably request it right about the 1st of July, the expectation of receiving it end of July. And then we'll have everything queued up on our end as far as what's going to have to go out to the market, to where the second that data comes in, it's just back out the door. So.
Last year, I think it really, I think it did help, and it did speed things up when Commissioner Shuey and I got involved.
Absolutely.
So why don't we try that at the beginning of this year, to have maybe the request come from him.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. We'll get with you guys and get you exactly what we need, so you can just pretty much send it on in whatever format, as opposed to doubling up, but no, I agree. We've even tried multiple times, and, you know, they were more responsive with us, so yeah, we would appreciate your help there, absolutely.
Yeah, so I say we probably, beginning of July, probably just put a request whenever the June data gets there,
Yeah.
that they just send it.
Yep.
As soon as
Well,
possible.
we'll get you what you need, make that request, make sure we get everything in one fell swoop. So, yep, absolutely. And we'll get we'll get the payment piece working on the front end too, so that doesn't delay anything either. So, that's another good point, I requested the first couple days of July, so we have plenty of time to get that received,
Yeah,
process it, and not delay it, yeah, I mean, that's the reality of it.
$500 is quite a bit for that department.
Yeah. Yeah, so. Guys, thank you very much for your time, as always, we appreciate it. We'll look forward to getting together, getting here soon in the near future. Thanks for your help. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir.
I think we're here, if we just go ahead and.
A couple of things, but I think it'd be really pretty quick.
Okay.
Resolution on the fire district number 2 reorganization. a date because I wasn't sure. We approved it today. Calendar. Okay, yeah. I think it's the 29th. It has to be published 3 times, and the hearing has to be within 10 days. Excuse me, the 22nd or the 27th will be our, either one, whichever one you want to do.
Of May.
Of May.
Whatever that.
27th we're closed.
More real.
Yeah.
Well, then let's not have it there.
Okay.
So the 22nd, then, or we can publish it on Wednesday and do it on the 29th.
This is a good one,
22nd, so Wednesday.
29th.
3 weeks from now.
3 weeks, that'd be exactly 3 weeks from now.
How many times do you have to have it published?
I have to publish it 3 times, but if we publish it on Saturday, 4th, 11th, and 18th. And then it has to be within 10 days of the last publication. So, but we publish it next Wednesday, the 29th. So which day do you want to have it?
Oh, it's Wednesday. Difference to you guys.
That's when I have the
And at what time?
final hearing.
3
Yeah.
o'clock is enough time.
Oops. I have April 9th as the day.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's April 2013 should be too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. So this is a public hearing on
You
it?
say April, see, man.
The very end.
Very good.
Are you saying this is a
When is it?
public?
Oh, okay.
Public hearing?
Yeah. I'll fix this before we publish it.
Do we need a resolution number?
Yes.
47, 1347?
64.
Or 64, yeah. Could be 65.
65.
What was the last one? 1365, wasn't it?
64.
Yeah, Cheryl, can you just verify that the next resolution is 1365?
013 dash.
Okay, let's get off that. Okay, thanks. 1365.
1365.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the 22nd meeting at 3 o'clock, and that last one gets changed to the first day of May, right? Right, so we adopted it. Okay.
2013.
Yeah, 2013. Mr. Chairman, I move we adopt resolution number 2013-1365 in regards to the reorganization, expanding of the territory of Fire District 2.
A second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Carried 3-0.
Are you gonna make that new one?
Yeah, well, one that gets published will, doesn't need 3 signatures on it.
Oh, right.
So
How many are there
I
signatures?
need one.
I think you probably needs one, that's all.
So it's the front page one, it's not right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Actually, it's for that page. We have,
It's downstairs. Okay.
I better have a bigger bag than that, huh? We take our deposit.
property valuation division level that we had, the same as what we had the other day.
Yeah, well, except it's on letterhead, it has the carbon copies on it. See if they can get through or something, work through it.
How long do we need?
5 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't think much, I don't have much.
Okay. We can ready for the more, 5-minute executive session.
Okay,
It would be,
personnel matters,
yeah, non-elected personnel.
B, 75-43-19, B1.
So it'll be coming out at 3:17, is that right? Guess you're back later.
So how many minutes are you saying?
5.
This one? And it's savings on.
Yeah, David Commissioner
And who made the motion?
I made a motion.
Second.
Sorry, guys.
You're finding that that.
Sorry, they were, give us 5 minutes.
Thank you.
For next speech will be 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Various thoughts and ideas. The design folks think a more, probably more appropriate cost for the construction of that culvert would be, let's say $230, because it depends upon whether KDOT goes ahead with this project. The one thing we talked about was, going back up, the department would be willing to do a cost share on whatever solution is there, and that would include either county going there and replacing it with your own means and methods, materials, forces, or we could go ahead, play along with what we have, scope, and do the concrete structure that we're planning on putting in there. So I think previously I said the 883 cost was 500. I think that's quite generous. I think a more realistic construction cost would be 230. Now, one of the options we talked about is KDOT going ahead and doing it, and then the county would reimburse the state, and that'd be a cost share scenario. But if that happens, there is gonna be some right-of-way acquisition costs, and we're gonna build it 70 feet long. So, quite a bit more length than what the county might do. So we will acquire some right-of-way. There'll be CE or construction engineering costs too, which is the inspection part of it, so. They talked about possibly doing a 50-50 cost share, and that's what our bridge management folks are talking about, is that what you recall?
Yes.
So, I think that's pretty generous for the county. Previously, it's what, an 80-20, or no, I guess KDOT does the 80-20.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
50-50, not quite a sweet end for you guys.
We can understand, I mean, we understand from that perspective,
Yeah,
as far as turning it over.
It could be, if we get 50% of that 230, then we do our own thing. Yeah. That might not be too bad a deal. So I guess bottom line, if KDOT lets it, builds it, you could very well be looking at, $100,000 or more for the cost share. I guess you just have to compare that to what you guys might do, your own means and methods.
What's the engineering show though, what's the alternative solution?
We talked about that a little bit, some of the engineering design analysis behind it, and so what we provided from that was what we call a hydraulic assessment checklist, and that gives the drainage area and the different flows that they looked at. The design, the flow from the first thing in design is the Q25, which is a 25-year event. The storm that statistically won't happen any more often than every 25 years, and that's pretty common on that classification of route and that type of structure, Q25. Larger bridges are Q50, even higher for really big structures, but Q25 is pretty common.
Looked like either, 2 10-footers. 2 10-foot culverts, or possibly, about a 19.5-foot, arch aluminized culvert.
Hydraulically, to meet the same thing that's there, what the design that we have shows is sitting box, 8x8, with the foot sediment at the bottom, so actually you got an 8x7.
Sure.
Do we have enough easement now, using the tubes, or we have to buy easement?
Do you recall what the right of way was?
Pretty narrow through there, and you'd be constrained. And I don't know what you do, you look at the
I'd really
permit.
find out exactly what the right of way was, and,
Would that be cost share as well, if we have to buy easement?
If we let the project and build it, you know, that's all in the cost share. But, let's see, if you guys,
normally that's,
it'd be part of the cost. I mean, it's certainly something that we could pursue.
and, county equipment and labor would also be included in the cost share.
I think that would include that. Again, that's subject to approval from those who would look at the typical cost share agreement. This is a little bit outside the norm, I guess, sure, I'm not used to.
So really,
Looks like something happens.
looks like the way it would work out to me is basically, KDOT would be buying the culverts and we'd be doing labor and supply of equipment.
Yeah. You know, originally, I thought maybe the cost share, if you guys did the work, would be the material only, but, you know, realistically, looking at it, if you guys wanted to get reimbursed for some of the equipment and labor in there, certainly ask, and it wouldn't be completely outside your own possibility to.
I think the labor ought to be most definitely.
Well, somebody's gonna have to pay for labor either way they go, so I would think it would be the same deal as if the state would.
What's the difference, like, so you got three different possibilities, it sounds like, that I'm hearing, to replace that Kirk Bridge. You got three,
Well, you got
he
two.
said three, he just said three.
Well,
That's
if
two
KDOT does it,
culverts,
you're gonna have
and
a
then
concrete box.
the concrete box.
If the county does it, we could have a couple different options. We could either put two 10-foot culverts in, or we could get one of those aluminum arch culverts. The reason I'm saying aluminum arch, because there is quite a bit of debris that comes on that, and that would give you one opening instead of two. And those things always like to catch debris in the center, so that's the reason I brought up the
Cost, how's the cost comparable?
the arch is, it'd probably be about twice the money.
What's the,
Of the two tubes.
Yeah. It'd probably, the two culverts I'm looking at, I'm gonna say probably around $20,000. The aluminum arch, you're probably looking at, between 40 and 50,000.
what's the life expect, I mean, like, I guess the next question is, I know cost, but like, what's the durability? If you're spending $20,000 the last 10 years versus $40,000
You should
the
get-
last 30 years.
Aluminum arch, you should get a lot more than 10 years. I'll have to check in.
And then how does that compare to what's the concrete box, what
You're
would
gonna be
be,
looking at a 40, surely they'd be looking at least 50-year life expectancy.
what would be the cost of the concrete box?
Yeah.
The construction
Just
cost.
230, okay, that's including additional concessions.
Well, he said there may be a little bit of right-of-way cost involved too.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
We're talking 200 for the construction, and then there's right of acquisition there, and there'd be some cost associated with construction engineering.
I got a dumb question, why do you need so much more right of way for the concrete versus like the tubes? I mean, why do you need them to be 74 feet longer or something?
We have to, the design standards that we have to design to require, that's the way to put the guard fence in there. We don't want to use the guard fence, so they're gonna build it out, push it out far enough where the four slopes are such that they meet the AASHTO design standards for not requiring guard fence.
Am I correct? If you build it, you have to build it to federal standards. If we build it, we do it,
I don't know what all your statutes and requirements are, but they're
Is that,
not the same.
is that a safety concern or a cost saving?
He's like churching.
To not have the guardrails?
But that too.
Both, I mean, first and foremost,
Yeah.
safety, but it's advantageous from a cost standpoint, if you look at the maintenance cost of the guard fence, life cycle maintenance costs. Because it costs to install the guard fence, and you're gonna go back, it's gonna get hit, you're gonna go back in there and maintain it, repair it, replace it.
I know.
You don't have
If
it.
you get your culvert out far
There,
enough,
right, it's
you're not
2,500.
required to.
It does
If you don't have it there, you don't have to maintain it.
It's just,
Yeah, it's just I think they had a 6-to-1.
Yeah.
Slope engineered it. I actually called, Wilburn today, and, they're gonna give me a quote on that arch, so I'll know for sure. That's just what I think it's gonna cost, but next week I'll have a quote on what it costs.
it's basically looking for the same amount of time and cost. It's simpler to put in than to.
About the same. We did that aluminum arch, that's what we did out there at, 310 and Chase. I don't know if you've looked at that. But there was an old, WPA bridge out there on 310 and Chase. And, if you get time, you can stop by there and look at that. We put a aluminum arch in there.
Well,
Be
you
just west of Chase on 310.
Oh, okay, that, so it's about half a mile west of that intersection.
Not quite, about a quarter mile, actually. Probably.
It's not that big bridge, there's a big bridge there.
No, it wasn't a big, it was, old WPA, it was a two-holer going through there.
Is that same weight bearing, both the oblong one, or not quite as good looking, but
Yeah, it's oblong, but it has a bunch of reinforcement on it.
So, I'm trying to compare apples to apples, so the 20,000 for the two 8-foot tubes, and then roughly 40,000 for the march, you're just talking about strictly materials, you're
That's
talking
it, yeah,
about
that's
so the
strictly-
230,000 is kind of, that's turnkey, that's including, right, so, I'm just trying to figure out apples to apples, what's, and so you figure 50 years with that concrete box, or probably,
Yeah,
that'd be 50-year
yeah.
life.
Labor, materials, and machinery, if the county did it ourselves, I would figure 40 to 50 right now.
For either one, but those two
how
alternatives.
can you get for 40, 50 when the two's gonna be 40?
Two's gonna be 20 for both culverts. That's not for the arch, that's for the
See, I
culverts.
thought you could lean towards arch. So if you had the arch, the tube's 40, what would be the labor?
You just say 40 to 50.
The arch, the arch itself would be about $40,000 probably. So I would add another, $20,000 on that.
With the labor part, I mean.
Yeah, labor and machinery.
60 for the arch.
Yeah. And then knock 20 off of that for the culverts. The reason I said the arch is because there is a lot of drift that comes through there, and, it wouldn't catch the drift.
And that 60 would be 100%, that wouldn't be our half.
It'd be 100%.
And not trying to sway your opinion away or make anything on your behalf. The arch, it's all about the opening, the area of the opening, as far as how much water can go through there, of course. When you got an arch, it's not quite as tall from the flow line to the top of the structure, and we do have some clearance, and there's not a lot of clearance right now between the top of that opening and the top of the roadway. So that is an advantage of using an arch, not only in this case, but other cases as well, where you've got over clearance, top clearance concerns. Put one of those in there and get the opening and have a lot more cover over the top of the structure.
Just out of curiosity, this may be more of a accounting question, but just say the concrete box option, if we just deducted that half share, if it was agreed to, that cost share, if we just deducted that half from the whole taking over 74 highway, instead of fronting that cost share, or do you guys need cost share up front? Because this isn't like a conventional cost share program. So like basically that 115,000 we just reduced from taking over the K-74.
Just take that off the reimbursement.
Yeah.
I don't know why again, I have to ask the fiscal folks, because sometimes what makes sense doesn't seem to be possible because of where the different funding sources come from. They have to keep things neat and clean, but, you know, it makes sense to me. But I will have to talk to the fiscal folks.
Yeah, that's why I posed that question, just to,
Well, I think we want to agree on the price, because, I mean, it's a certain amount, and that's what you left off. If they say $15,000, that's just what it is, but you give us a pretty good estimate on there.
Now, schedule-wise, if we go ahead and do it, you know, the bridge isn't scheduled to be replaced until February 2015 is when it's scheduled to last, so it's down the road a little ways. You guys may want to move more quickly on this other agreement with the road, if ultimately we decide to go ahead with this, so there is maybe some disconnect in the schedule there.
okay. I know KDOT's been speeding up some of the projects. It seems like the trend has been, you guys have been generally ahead of schedule on some replacements. I know it's hard to see that far out, but I mean, do you think it's possibility 2014, the project would commence, or?
I can't really say I see this one being accelerated,
Okay.
because it's all about cash flow, this is bridge set aside, funds. Those are generally programmed out 2 or 3 years in advance.
Okay. Great.
It's another question I could ask, you know, I wanted to ask about possibly accelerating the levy.
Wasn't there some talk also though about, trying to take the money out of the fiscal 2013 funds?
That's for there is money, he said, if you're talking
Three,
about.
three days, I've used half of that, or maybe more than half.
Now, the intent, as I understand this initiative, is to put $3 million per fiscal year towards the reduction of some of our spur road mileage. So before too long, assuming that commitment holds, there'll be another $3 million to spend on this. So I don't think there would be any need to try to spend FY 2013 funds on this particular project. That's assuming that you're going to be there next fiscal year, which begins July 1.
Yeah, it's going up quick.
So what you're saying is they probably, even if we agreed, it'd be 2014 before this will even tax transfer.
Probably FY 2014 funds, because I really don't see agreements being executed and signed before July 1. Just going on bureaucracy works.
Yeah. Understand. Been there?
So we have down to the week.
We
Expedite.
know.
Well, you know, I guess it would all be written out to say we did that. I mean, I guess I lean more towards, when you pencil out, we don't know exactly sure how long the arch would last, but let's just say 30 years, there's not a lot of dollars per year difference versus the arch versus having a concrete box. And I would think it would be a lot stronger.
As far as, I'm sure, there's no doubt in my mind that a concrete box is stronger than a aluminum arch.
I mean, just in case our farmers decide to get even bigger equipment.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you're thinking along the same lines, like, what's today is not.
I mean, you know,
30, 40
5 years ago, a 500 bushel grain truck was pretty big. I mean, we're looking at 12 to 1,500 bushels. I mean, you know, that's pretty good size. That's a lot of grain.
Yeah.
That's as much as a semi.
I got a picture of one about a week ago, went through a bridge. It was full too.
I do too.
Well, it wouldn't fall as it gone through.
Well, I guess for
Oh,
a
not so.
time frame, we can probably discuss a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then just.
We're interested. I think we're interested.
And, you know, let me apologize, maybe I could have had a little bit more information, but we want to go ahead and be on this after Monday, we decided we go ahead and try to make this meeting and try to guide what we discussed.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
No, it's good to, especially while it's fresh,
Yeah.
everybody minds. Definitely strong interest, I believe,
So I will inquire about two things. I'll make sure that, should you guys decide to replace that with your own means and methods, you purchase a tube and put it in there, that the labor and equipment can be included.
Yes.
And I'm also, in the cost share, I'm also asked about the acceleration of the letting. I don't know if we will remove that or not, and I'll do that.
And then I would say, that there was another one just about the,
Deduction.
deduction of, if we went with like the route of like,
That would be,
Letting.
that would be built into the agreement.
Yeah.
That X number of dollars is projected as X number of dollars off, and you guys do the whole
Yeah,
thing.
I hear what you're saying, that makes sense, but I'm thinking because of accounting and fiscal concerns, the replacement's on down the road a couple of years, you may want to move earlier on the, have to turn the road.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
We just go ahead and give you the money, and then. a couple
We
years
could-
later-
We just turn around and use, I see what you're saying.
Well, we could put that money, in escrow.
Yeah,
But we also want agreement that was the amount that we was going to get. Which I can assume that they'd be willing to agree to, even though it's 2015.
but on the other hand, you don't know exactly what the cost is, don't run it, let and build. If we're gonna do 50/50 on it. I mean, right now, we're working on estimates on what the construction cost will be, the right of way acquisition, and the CE.
Well, that's part of the reason I'd like to have it all turnkey.
Yeah.
Then we don't have to
Take-
cross
take-
another, we don't have to cross another.
Yeah, we don't want to
Okay.
start talking
It certainly takes a lot going away from you guys.
Yeah, I think we've discussed that further, but I mean,
Well, that could be a problem, so they say it's gonna cost $230, and we're gonna do it in 2015. So they give us $115,000, and 2000, then we do it, it costs $400,000.
well, we're talking about them doing it. They
raise their price too.
That's right, that's what I'm saying, that's why I want to build into the, even if those probably years. I mean, I think that's what we have to discuss.
There's probably some overage, there's probably some margin, I would assume, built in when they do that projection, I would think.
It says 230, pretty close, because the first time I was here in my notes, you said 530.
That was the whole thing, that was preliminary survey, that was right away, that was, preliminary engineering, there's preliminary engineering costs in that too. That was the whole thing, so going back and talking to the design folks out there Monday, peeled out just the construction costs. And so just the construction costs, we think are around 230. But you're right, there is some risk, there's some liability, these are based upon the big prices that we've been seeing, which have been quite advantageous, given the economic climate.
Yeah, here's the thing, if it comes in too high, we still go back up and be losing bridges.
Yes. There could be that green in there, if you actually go letting, and knowing that you guys were, part of an agreement, half of it, give you the option to agree to letter at that point, go ahead and replace it.
Good option, usually don't get it that way. Nice to have.
Another thing we can just ask.
On different matters, any chance of getting that, first 100 on 210, thanks why you got the blacktop crew out, that's a mess.
Tell me what is 210.
210 is that county road that goes back east, and you got, there's probably about 150-foot strip of blacktop. It's tore up, major.
The one they worked on last one a little bit, that first intersection north of the,
I think I called, it might have been like late this winter, I think I called you on that, that was the one I,
Yes.
Them railroad trucks is what tore up.
And I've talked to our secretary maintenance shop here, I'm surprised that hasn't done yet, because I'm pretty sure that the intent was to have it, so I'll check on it again.
I talked to Robbie about it, and he said that it was scheduled, they were gonna take it out, put the noise in there, I believe, that's what they're
For
doing.
now, until we get our latest, we don't have our own laydown machine, we just search for efficiencies and whatever you guys want to use on it, reduce some of our equipment, now we share equipment, so we're sharing our asphalt laydown machine with the neighboring area. So it makes it a little bit more tricky to get in there, and schedule it. But I will ask about it.
Other than that, all the projects kind of moving along. You got quite a few in the area. You got
Yeah.
73, 59, Bridge.
Herzog, I think, is to start the 13th now. I don't know, they indicated something different to you last time, but they're gonna start on 13th
And
now.
that's on 59, so they're doing.
That's, 9 highway from Monrovia, Lancaster, and then 7 highway from North City limits, Nebraska line, excluding the new portion of the.
Herzog's doing that work.
And Hams is, of course, they want to serve the south of town here, and, when they finish on 74, they'll be moving on to US 73.
They're laying my stuff out there now.
174?
73.
173. So 74 is finished then already, or?
One,
I
I think one line was,
Okay.
it was nice, it was nice.
I hope they get there on
Is
73.
that Herzog's doing that, you said 74?
Ham.
Hams, okay.
Well, I'm gonna get out of here, unless you got other questions, or feel free to, you guys got my number, or we can go through that.
Get the bridge opened up. It's still on target, I mean, whether the target date, or is it
Seems like the target's all kind of
moving?
always moving. but-
It's that early spring. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been pouring, it looks getting closer.
Yeah, it's not long, we're soon to have all the pavement in the Fourth Street intersection done, and then we just got to get that NSE wall, really approach up to the new structure. And that's basically the two big pieces that are left, in order to get the 4 lanes, get it all opened up to Fourth Street. There's some work on the Missouri side yet to be done too,
Yeah.
but,
What was the total figure of that bridge, with the lights and everything?
that just under 60 million, and it'll be
60 or 65?
60.
Probably closer to 75 when we done.
I don't think it'll be that much. Guess I'm not in a position to say exactly what the total is at this juncture, but it'll be, probably a little more than 60. Hopefully not too much more.
Good for 100 years.
I hope so.
It better be.
We'll be around, see it last, see it happen that long. Thanks again, thanks for coming up here, Ryan. Take care.
We'll have power, we'll have power packs on.
I did have few, you want to go real quick? First one is for, truck park, that is to be reimbursed by K-Camp for their, loss prevention grant. There you go, can get spit out.
Hey, I got a good report. I heard that guy, drove that new track hole, he couldn't get over the tire and the speed.
Oh, yeah?
He loves it.
It's a very good connection, then, because we just, started using it yesterday.
What happened to man thing yesterday?
Huh?
The guy told me that.
Oh, okay.
The TV, radio was in there, our road stroke.
Oh, okay.
Did you install the, you guys did work on that too?
Yeah, they're working on it.
Oh, they're up.
Yeah.
I didn't know when you talked, I thought maybe you moved that dirt just to have it up there. Did you get it up? Or you-
We quit hauling dirt, we're gonna see where we're at. We should have pretty close.
Yeah, it's back.
That's for, brake job on one of the Sterlings.
So if you impressed with it?
I haven't run it yet. I was out there just a little bit yesterday and he was digging, but, yeah, he liked it.
I have been looking, and I've seen them coffin trailers advertised for $34,000.
Yeah, but tell him, I thought the same thing.
Oh, there's a long difference.
That's without the Honda pony motor. The one I was looking at also has the load supporting rear fenders on it. The strip down, if you go to their website, that's the base, but then if you go down to the options, it does give you a price of the options, but that's just the base.
That's not pretty good.
Yeah, and, I actually talked to, a guy this morning, and, he thought it'd be a pretty good trailer for us, Austin Martin, but, they're just not as well-known brand, but,
So I'm trying to figure the name.
right.
Well, 25 years, they've been in business 25 years.
Right.
I checked it out.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'll get up there.
Gentlemen,
this week, but.
You two gentlemen that came in later, did you have the
We're all together.
appointment? Oh, you're all together, okay. That's not, I wasn't familiar with them, so I just wanted to make sure it wasn't. Okay. Ready for you.
All right.